VERT On Demand allows access to the VERT software you all know and love anywhere, anytime. It comes ready to go with over 40 pre-made assignments which can also be tailored to your needs. You can see here some of the other features such as interactivity with different question types, and it also comes with our expert online training. I'm going to jump straight onto the platform so you can see for yourselves. I am firstly going to log in as a manager. This is an example of the homepage. It can be customised with your university name and logo. You can see here we've got the VERT University with VERT On Demand. On the homepage you can post announcements for your students with the latest one appearing at the top. For example, this can welcome them to the course or tell them that there is a new assignment available. The users page, which I'll select next, allows you to add additional users up to the maximum number of seats purchased on your subscription. You can add images, user IDs, or make them active or inactive. To add a new user, you simply click Add New User and pick Standard or Manager. To add a standard user, you've got the option to upload pictures. You can enter their email address, a user ID or student ID, for example, and their name. They will then receive an email prompting them to create a password. You can make them active or inactive, and you also have the ability at the bottom to assign content. If I select one of the users, such as myself, which is pre-made, you can see that this is fully filled in with my picture, my name, I never expire, I'm active, and I've been assigned to 2 content items, RT Basic Principles and Anatomy. We'll come back to these shortly. Next is the group page. You're able to organise your users into multiple groups. For example, here I've got Year Group 1 and Anatomy. If I select Year Group 1, inside this I've got James, the VERT user, and myself. I've given it a name and a description, and currently there is no content assigned. The second group, the Anatomy group, again has the group name, the description. This module only has James in it, and it does have content assigned, which is the Anatomy module. Inside this module there is then some assignments which you can select underneath. You can assign new content or add new users to the group, and each of these is a simple tick box list. The next page is the contents page, and probably the most important. This is where you have the ability to add modules and assignments. You can see at the top of this page we've got Add Module and Add Workbook. Below this you can see a selection of modules. This is a small sample of the ones which you will receive if you purchase a subscription. For example, if I select the Anatomy module, within this there are 2 sub-modules, Head and Neck Anatomy and Thorax Anatomy, and inside each of these are the workbooks or assignments. You can see we have Head and Neck Bony Anatomy, Brain, Oral Cavity, Pharynx and Larynx, and under the Thorax we've got activities for Thorax Bony Anatomy, Breast, Lung, Heart and Esophagus. If I now select the module Thorax Anatomy, you can see that this is the edit page where you can add an image, you can add the title, the categories or hashtag for easy navigation, a summary and a further description to tell your students what you would like them to do. Underneath is the contents of this module where we have assigned the workbooks. You please select Add Content Items and you can select from the list any of the pre-made content. We will now go back and have a look at one of the workbooks or assignments. So if I select the Thorax Bony Anatomy, you can see the edit page looks very similar, and you have the ability again to add an image, the title, any categories, the summary and a further description. If I scroll further down you can see that this has been assigned to the Anatomy module. Currently there are no groups associated. There's also the button slightly further above that says Edit Content in VERT. On selecting this, it will open the VERT software, which you're all very familiar with. On loading the VERT software, you'll then be able to select the patient that you want to use to create the assignment. On the virtual presenter, there are 10 options for your interactive slides. We have everything from information slides to true or false statements, multiple choice questions, and closing statements. On the closing slide, you can allow the user to submit results, allow the user to restart from the first slide, or allow the user to exit. I'm not going to go into detail on how to create any virtual presenters at the moment. I'm going to switch straight over to the user page so you can see what your students will be able to see. So on logging in as myself, you can see on the home page I've got the announcements available and my name appears on the top right hand corner. If I select the content, you can then see that the two modules I was assigned, the basic principles and the anatomy, appear on my home page with a due date on the right hand side. If I open the anatomy page, you can see I've got then the head and neck anatomy and the thorax, and in opening these further, I have the assignments. I'm going to open the oral cavity anatomy workbook as an example. Instead of the edit content in VERT, your students will have a button called launch. On selecting this, it will open the VERT software with the correct LINAC, the correct patient and the virtual presenter. You can see here it's automatically opened the VERT software and I've got the first slide ready to go. We've got the abilities to select next instead of the usual virtual presenter tools. This is an example of an information slide to tell the students what's going to happen during this workbook. Again, we've got another information slide. We've got a new roll-up button, and if we roll this up, you can see that as described on the slide, we do have the split screen with VERT on the left and the DRR on the right. And this is fully interactive, just like you're using VERT in the classroom. They can then roll this down and continue selecting next. Once we get to a question slide, such as the one shown on the screen, which is multiple choice and asks which body system is the oral cavity associated with, they've got the option to select the different answers. These will then be recorded on the VERT On Demand platform, and at the end an overall score will be given. They continue selecting next, working their way through the whole presentation until they get to the end. Hopefully you've seen a good selection of the question types. On the end slide you can see that those options that we had available, submit, restart or save and exit, appears for your students, and they can select which one they want to do. On submitting the results is when they would then be able to log back into the platform and see their final score. I hope this short presentation has given you a good overview of what VERT On Demand can offer. You can see on the screen some of the benefits we think it might provide. It's cloud-based, it offers self-directed learning, it has the integrated feedback, seamless links with VERT, you can match it to your curriculum and multiple students can use it at the same time. There's no requirement for specific hardware. As long as they have a laptop with internet connection, they will have access. I mentioned earlier it comes with some pre-made content. On the screen, you can see that the pre-made content has been split into main groups such as clinical, fundamentals, basic principles, anatomy, and case studies. This should allow your students to work through from their first day in the course till the day before they graduate. It's built by our clinically trained team and replicates the general radiation therapy curriculums across the globe, covering all the basic principles.